I want to tell you about all the bits and pieces that I use for English paper piecing. I get asked this all the time, so it's easier just to put it into one video and show you all about it. What I use and why I use it. This is our Hugs and Kisses applique paper. I use it for all of my needle turn applique and all of my English paper piecing. You can also use it for foundation paper piecing or just an embroidery stabilizer. It's a 50% soluble, 50% non-soluble natural paper with a light glue on one side. It essentially looks like a lightweight iron-on interfacing, like this. And it's got that shiny side, that's the glue side if you hold it up to the light, and the dull side which you print or trace onto in most cases. We sell it in a pack of 20 letter size sheets, and they're suited to go through an inkjet printer and print your shapes straight onto it, or it's semi-transparent so that you can just trace your shapes onto it or use a template. You can also put it through a cutting machine like a Silhouette Cameo or a Brother Scan and Cut, or any die cutting machine you might work with. The beauty of this paper is that it irons onto the wrong side of your fabric, and after you finish your technique, whether it be English paper piecing or applique, there's no need to remove it. The paper just stays safely inside the project. It's not offensive if you just leave it as is, but if it is stiff or you wish to wash it, then the 50% soluble parts will dissolve, so the stiff bits will dissolve and just stay inside as nice soft fibres, like a small stabiliser. You can also purchase it in 1 metre sheets for large art quilt type projects. To glue our fabric onto the paper, I use a fabric glue pen. Now this is a water-soluble glue pen designed for fabric. There are many brands out there and they probably all look the same. If they do, they're probably out of the same factory and they will work in the same way. Tend to find that the glue refills also fit each of the different brands, so if you can't find the same brand for a refill, then most of them fit each other. These pens have just the right amount of stick to work with, and even though they can add up in cost, we're paying for the pleasure of the process, and they work really well, so I wouldn't do it any other way. A basting glue. Yes, the glue pens are great for when we're fusing down the seam allowances, but when it comes to positioning your motif or an applique piece onto the background fabric, then I prefer to use a basting glue. I use the Roxanne's Glue Basted. This is water soluble, fabric friendly, and it's very nice and strong. Now the two main reasons I use this instead of the glue pen is one, that it's much stronger. The glue pen is temporary hold and repositionable. This is also water soluble, so it can be removed, but it's much stronger. The other main reason is that it's a lot cheaper than using all of those glue pen refills. You only need tiny little dots placed in underneath the edge of each piece, not right on the edge because you don't want to be hand stitching through it, but just tuck that needle in underneath and place a few little dots. I like to do this on the ironing board and then iron it dry, and that sets the glue really strong, and you're never going to lose a piece as you're hand stitching it down. It comes in various sizes. I keep the small bottle, which is great just to have in your portable sewing bag, and then the larger bottle with the long needle tip, that's great to keep at home and use all the time, goes a long way. You can also get refill bottles of the larger bottles and fill up all your tiny ones with those as well. The needles I use for English paper piecing are an applique needle. Now I have my own brand of applique needle. Every brand will have a different needle that they choose to use for applique. A lot of people use a milliner needle. That's a very long, fine needle with a tiny weeny eye. Two reasons why I choose not to use those. One is that they're so fine that they bend easily, and I personally can't work with a bent needle, so once it's bent I throw it out. The second reason is that tiny weeny eye. You can spend your whole day threading needles. So my needles are still nice and fine. They're about a size 10, so they're lovely and fine, but they are shorter, so they won't bend very easily at all. And they have that large eye like a cruel needle, which makes for much easier threading. So shorter, stronger, so they won't bend. Still nice and fine, but the large eye for threading. The threads I use for English paper piecing are a Superior branded thread. It's called a Super Bob, and it's a bottom line thread, so it's a very lightweight polyester strong thread, so fine and strong. Another reason I really like them is because they're very affordable. You can get them just in single bobbins like this. You can get nifty little neutrals packs and bright packs like this, just a selection. The neutral packs will cover almost everything you'll need. You can get these great donuts, which you have one of 35 different colours, so you'd have something there for everything you need, and they're great just for popping in your sewing bag when you're travelling or as you stitch at nights on the lounge. You can also get them in reels for your machine and right up to cones for long arm quilting. So inexpensive, nice and strong, and nice and fine. These are the most amazing scissors I've ever found and used. I was told I should use them for years and never had a try, but as soon as you take one snip you can feel the difference. They're the Karen K Buckley Perfect Scissors, and I use them for cutting all my fabric for applique and also English paper piecing. You'll see when I demonstrate the process how quickly and easily they are to use. Come in 3 sizes plus a red curved pair. Beautiful sharp points, and they cut all the way to the point. Left and right handed, nice large soft grips, so very comfortable to use. But honestly, you need to take one snip on a piece of fabric to understand how different and how lovely they are to use. If you're tracing your shapes onto the applique paper, a ceramic pencil is a great thing to use. They come in various brands, various colours. It's just like a clicker mechanical pencil, but it's a ceramic lead which just glides across the paper rather than catching, gives you a nice fine line. Obviously it also washes out, or the eraser can be used to remove it as well. Because the papers don't need to be removed in this method, you can actually stitch your pieces together by machine if you really wanted to. When I'm doing this, I use a Superior monopoly thread, so that's a monofilament thread. I use it in the top and the bottom of the machine. And if you want to know more about this, just search on YouTube for my applique videos, and it will take you through the process of putting things together using invisible thread and a blind hem stitch on your machine. We die cut the applique paper into various shapes and sizes for English paper piecing. These are called EPP iron-ons, so English paper piecing iron-ons. They're the shapes pre-cut, ready to fuse straight onto your fabric. We currently have about 18 shapes, with more being added all the time. Some packs are available as bulk packs, and if we don't have the shape or size that you're after, we have downloadable files that you can print straight onto your paper, or print and cut through a cutting machine, of about 50 to 60 extra shapes and sizes, and we're adding to those all the time.